When I listen to what you're saying, you both approach the business very differently. You both identify with challenges very differently, right? I would imagine as partners, you're very different individuals, right? I was wondering, Amy, could you tell us about what it's like working with Sabrina? What do you think are the strengths that she brings to the business that complements you nicely? And what's it like working with her?
I think that's about 3 questions.
This question is going to be very interesting.
Okay, so first of all, I don't think we've ever been asked that question before in public. This will be quite new. I think to say we have very different working styles is an understatement. I think we couldn't be more different from each other from a personality, working style, what drives us, what triggers us, what makes us tick perspective. If I were to describe Sabrina, I think she is the rock of the business. She is the reason why anything works in the company, from the aircon to the power being on to, our wonderful bakers showing up to work and to getting, almonds and oats from Australia that are beautiful and of high quality, to making our finance work. And having enough money in the bank to pay, everybody in our team, our whole families. So I think she's the rock of the business. Her working style is very much do first, don't speak. Meaning she's not one to sweet coat things. She's not one to, make you feel really good. She's not gonna be like, giving you a lot of cushioning. But where she doesn't do these things, she's actually loving you and looking after me and the team and our products from her actions. So she's very much of actions speak louder than words person. If there's a picture in the dictionary for that will be her. So I think I'll just start off there. I can definitely continue, but I would love to hear what Sabrina says.
Yes.
Amy and I, North Pole, South Pole.
Very much.
Yes.
But I suppose that's what makes it work.
Yes. You
Right,
need to.
that's
Wait,
what- yeah.
if you marry somebody,
Yes.
if you marry somebody, you've got to marry someone who's very much, complementary.
I definitely have thought about it, right? I mean, 2 different people working together, there's definitely going to be tension. There's definitely going to be clashes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I thought like, oh my God, this is how arranged marriage feels like.
Wait, this is not an arranged marriage. We came together with consent.
So it's more like, we've been friends many years way before Amazin Graze started, right?
Yes.
But we were friends. But coming together as one to grow something together, it's a whole different thing. To learn Amy personally as a person, of course, it's been really, really interesting. Those that doesn't know, like Amy is a visionary. I am truly impressed, or like I'm lost of words when I see her speak.
I didn't pay her to say this. Okay.
No. I can tell you, I was just in Singapore like 2 days ago, and that past 2 days, in every meeting that I was in, I'm in awe. I just couldn't stop staring, and because by listening to her speak, you would just be pulled in. Number 1, Number 2 is just that you can feel her passion, and honestly speaking, without that passion, without that vision, the boat will go nowhere. Right? I honestly am. I'm a person that, like what Amy said, is just more like do first, think later, that kind of thing. But direction has to come somewhere, and I see her as this light, my North Star.
Okay.
Can I say it
Yes,
that way?
yeah.
It's really like my North Star. Otherwise, I'll be just driving left, right? I was like, where am I going? But this is why I remind myself, this is why we work. Although we are North and South, this is why. And I'm truly grateful, right? Every day I'm like, there's no other person in the world that I work with. And I really hope this partnership will, go on as long as it can.
I think it's getting very emotional. I would love to hear, Sabrina, also what triggers you. You know, I think it's the partnership is amazing, but I think given how opposite we are, I am sure I trigger you in ways that, you know, you want to kill me. And so I would love to hear moments where you want to kill me.
Oh, many, many. But I think one of it is, it's not really to kill you. It's more like, my God, make up your mind. It's more like, you know how like this. A visionary will always constantly have constant ideas. Right. I want to do this. I want to do that. You know, there's just so much to do, and then I myself get excited. I was like, oh, okay, let's start, that kind of thing, right? But then when I sit down and I go like, okay, what do we do first? Where do we start? But then I'll be like, oh, I need to know. I need to let's.
So that's when you break it down.
Yes, let's sit and align. But then there's just so many. I was like, okay, Amy, this is where the frustration comes in.
Okay.
We really need to decide. We really need to, like, you know, align and go like, okay, this is where we're gonna go.
So how do you make that work? What happens then when you get to that point?
I think because I know Amy very well, I understand how she thinks. I understand how she works. A lot of the time is I put myself in her shoes. Right, and I learned from past experience. Like, we've been through this before. I know how Amy thinks, so I tend to reflect. I tend to think about it, and I will bring it to the table. Like okay, and I'll break it down to go like, Amy, this is what we discussed. What do you think, and how do you think we should approach this?
Right.
And of course, there are times where we will go like, nah, it's not gonna work, but it's fine. It's part of the journey. Right, but that's what made me personally grow as well, because I'm constantly learning about her. Until today, I think we are still learning about each other. There's no way I know her about 100%. I think we're barely like 30%. just so much, but it is part of it. You know.
Okay. So she sets the tone. She says, "Okay, we want to go there," and then you break it down. This is going to be step 1. This is going to be step 2. This is going to be step 3.
Have you thought about this?
Yeah. Have you thought about this?
Yes.
What are the challenges here? And so on and so forth, and then you discuss, and that's how you move forward. Sometimes I presume it doesn't work.
Yeah, but I mean, it is what it is, right? But this is how we make it work. It's not forced,
Right.
but because we know each other so well, we know how to communicate with each other. I mean, I wouldn't say it's the best, but there is a way,
Right.
and we try to make that work.
But the best is not exactly the point, right?
Correct.
Perfection is
Yeah.
the
Arriving
enemy.
is not the goal. You
Yeah.
know, we wouldn't have arrived ever. And I think, just out of context, I think I've seen a lot of founder partnerships throughout, you know, the last 10 years as well. And it's really particularly difficult for founders to have this level of relationship. I think I call her family my family. Her pet is my pet. No, her husband is not my husband. It's not, you know, so there's a lot of like sense of family. There's a really sense of like, as much as, you know, your family can frustrate you. You know, your family they're not perfect, but you just got that sense of closeness and trust. I think trust is really important in why Amazin Graze is where it is today, despite the challenges and the craziness of operating a FMCG startup in Asia. I think it's just from that trust, from that, like, I know we're both trying to do the best for the company and we've got the best intention, and we're like, I would never think Sabrina is slacking off. There's not a day where I'm like, she's slacking off in Hawaii. And I know that could be an issue for some founders, like, well, I don't really trust my founder is actually putting in the same amount of work that I'm putting.
Right.
I think we're actually trying to tell each other to relax more.
A bit more.
To, hey, are you working too much? Are you stressed out? You better take a break. So there's just a lot of trust.
Yeah.
But Amy, for you, what triggers you?
Yes. What triggers me, or what used to trigger me, is probably just not understanding what Sabrina is thinking about. And I think she's action first. She uses her actions, her love language is quality time and also acts of service. And definitely the second one. Acts of service is number 1 for her. So I'm more of a communication person. I want somebody to tell me, you're great, or you're doing really well, or, you're amazing. And so not hearing that as my love language
Right.
is part where I'm like, well, maybe I'm not really like doing well. So I think just understanding each other's love language and, you know, building that trust and understanding that, okay, I know she loves me. She may not have told me that ever, but I know that for a fact.
So for you, how do you make it work?
Make it work how?
Because you see, she's a different person completely, right? How she communicates, how she appreciates, how she loves, as you said. She's very different, right? So you need a different show of love, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do? How do you make it work?
Yeah, I think her part is she's been learning to communicate more with me. I think as much as she hates doing that, now she's learning, okay, can I talk to you about something? So she's definitely started communicating more. I used to go to people who know her, including her husband, to be like, what is she thinking? What is going on in her mind?
Wait, is that true?
I have to go through a medium to be like, you know, that was so frustrating, you know, why is she not responding to me? Why isn't she like communicating? And what is she exactly wanting to do in this situation? So I think we went through a lot of probably sibling-like issues and challenges of just different modes of communication and missing and having a lot of miscommunication as well. I think one of the things that we often do when we can't connect with each other is we actually just freeze. And with that freezing, we basically disconnect.
Right.
And so I think over the years, it's about understanding, like, rather than disconnecting and actually started becoming passive aggressive and moving yourself away from your business partner, I think it's actually to go and be closer. So I found that the best thing that actually breaks that bridge or that, you know, challenge is actually just giving her a hug in times where, you know, we're pointing the finger at each other, where we're just really being frustrated. Like, why didn't you do this? Well, I thought I told you. No, you didn't. No, I told you 5 days ago. You know, so that's the typical kind of banter that we have. And then it'd be like, stop, go and give the other person a hug. And that's when connection happens again.
That's where the tears start rolling.
Yeah, the tears start rolling. And we're like, okay. You know, we can work with this. Yeah.
But you know, kudos to both of you because a lot of times it's easier to just not bother, be triggered and just continue to be triggered, right? For you, you decided that, okay, she's going to be this way. So I'm going to break it down for her and then discuss it with her. And if that doesn't work, break it down some more and then prioritize, deprioritize.
Yep.
And for you, it's a hug and
Maybe a
actually
hug.
just...
Yeah.
You know, instead of going through a medium, go to her. And so over the years, I presume you've worked this out and you've...
For sure.
Yeah.
This is definitely, the relationship we have is definitely not overnight. We built on it. Yes, there's tough times, but I think I am the stage that we are at, I'm so comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, when I got married, I took her along and elope.
Yeah. I was part of the eloping team.
I was like,
Yes.
Amy, get ready. We're going somewhere. You know?
Yeah.
So we've come to that stage to where we are today. And I honestly think our love for each other will only grow. Yes. And
Oh my
because
gosh.
of that,
Yes.
I believe that we
The
can...
company
yes.
will actually survive and
Correct.
flourish because I think it really comes down to the strength of relationship of the people that is caring and nurturing the company. Yeah.
You, as far as you're concerned, there is a direct correlation with the success of the company and, so to speak, the success of your relationship as founders.
100%.
Wow. Okay. So the advice to people who are wanting to be startup founders and things like that would be, you know, it's very rarely, hey, pay attention to your founders. Build that relationship as well. So for you, you think that's a priority as well?
Yes, usually when people ask me, when people come to me for advice to go like, okay, I'm looking to start a business, my first thing is find a reliable partner. Find a partner that you can work with. Don't do this yourself. Even you think that you can, there's going to be times you will need someone. Honestly, if I was going through this by myself, give it 1 year.
We would quit.
1 year.
It's a very lonely journey. It's very
It is.
lonely. And if you don't have somebody to carry the load together, as satisfying as it is, You know, I think when we go to markets, we meet customers and customers are like raving and they're like, we really like this, and they delight on their face. But as much as that is beautiful, I think the load of carrying the company by yourself is not something that I wish upon my worst enemy.
But it's also the happiness that we get. We get to share.
Yep.
No point having happiness all by myself.
Yep.
Right? So there's something to
Seeing
share.
the company grow.
Yeah.
Yep.